Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. Today I'm going to show you how I prep all the flowers and some of the behind the scenes of this black and white wedding that we set up for. We're going to use a couple of different techniques here. I'm starting with this chicken wire, just rolling it up in my hand, and I'm going to use my handy dandy lamp stand. You guys have seen this lamp stand in several of my videos. I use it mostly for my balloon columns because it's thin enough that the balloons wrap around them nicely. But today we shorten them so that we can use it for the stand for flowers that are going to go by the cake table, the main table as well. So I put the chicken wire, use a zip tie to secure it in place, and my mom is helping me here fluff the flowers. If you have help with the flowers, it goes so much faster. It goes by so much faster, and you're able to design these flowers so fast. Sometimes she'll help me prep the hydrangeas, put the stems on, and it will just be ready when I'm ready to use, and I will use them. I don't have her pre-cut them because I like to gauge how much of a length I need for each one. But here we are adding the flowers, making it long enough so that it covers it's wide because I want a wider design. Another thing is, because of the fact that the client wanted more hydrangea, I decided not to use the floral foam or the pool noodle you see me use in the next one. Here's another angle so you can see. I put the camera behind me because it's better you see what I'm doing or what I look at when I'm designing it, so it's easy for you to gauge how I'm placing the flowers. Of course, we're separating the flowers out so that they're not quite touching each other, but kind of spreading everything out. I was saying I use the chicken wire because I'm not going to use any hydrangea. A lot of the times my hydrangea will be used to cover the mechanics behind everything. But since I'm not doing that with this design, I'm using the chicken wire, and the roses and baby's breath help cover it pretty well. So the main thing is covering that black pole that you see there. So just adding all the flowers on. This wedding was a dream come true to design, to discuss, to plan, and to execute. I felt so honored to be able to do this. I had been wanting to do a black and white wedding, but God blessed me with the opportunity. So I'm glad we have this in our books, and we were able to host the wedding and also decorate for the wedding. So you can see all the backdrops there. The event center is already set up for the ceremony. If you don't know already, we own an event center. So we host various events, corporate events, weddings, birthday parties, different things like that. Sometimes they'll have us do the decorating, and sometimes they decorate themselves. So here you can see on the right there, the black and white backdrop is for the cake, and the bigger backdrop is for the ceremony. I extended it. It was supposed to be half that size, but I extended it because I wanted them to have a decent backdrop for pictures. So that's why you see that white. If you haven't seen the videos of how I designed those, I will link those in the description below, so you can just click and watch that after this video. We have all the chairs already set up in the ballroom. The sashes are all tied and they are lined up. We measured every one of them and got them all lined up in place. I laughed because Jenny and I were trying to figure out how to get them all aligned, and we're going back and forth on whether or not they were aligned. I am working on the florals that are going on the sweetheart table. These are going to go on top of the table, and the other flowers we designed are going to go on the bottom, on the opposite corner. So Sabi's helping there vacuum the rest of the flower pieces that I had on the bottom there by the cake area, and she's helping clean up a little bit while my mom is still helping me with these floral setups. Once we're done with this, we still have the main backdrop for me to show you. I still have the flowers going on the cake table, and I have the flowers going on the reception backdrop. They wanted the drapes for the ceremony, and she wanted a wooden backdrop with their initials for the reception. So we had to switch things up. If you remember well, we did a room flip. If you've been seeing the shorts, you see the video that I showed you how we transformed this room with these chairs for the reception. So you can see the tables preset in the corner. We had to move all the chairs out of the way, set up the black and white checkered dance floor, and bring all those tables in and put the chairs around. My dad is checking on us as we're working. So about done with these flowers here. So glad with how everything turned out, and I do like the pop of green on the center pieces. It just balanced everything out. We're here with everybody helping getting everything set up. So we are done with this centerpiece, and we're moving on to our next floral centerpiece. I'm adding some of the hydrangea here to cover mechanics as I look around. Now I'm showing you a different method with that same the same lamp post. So I put a pool noodle through that, cut it right above it, and I'm sliding a zip tie through that to go around the lamp post. Then it'll hold it in place. If I just wrap the zip tie around, it's gonna turn while I'm putting the flowers in place. So you want to slide that through to one end, come back around through the other end, but making sure it stays around the lamp post. Once that's done, it's not gonna move. You can twist it, it's not gonna move. So now I'm making sure I cover the foam first with the hydrangea. When we're done covering all putting all the hydrangea, again, just spreading it around. This is not going to be seen all around, so I just have to cover the part I see. It's gonna lean towards either the tablecloth, the tablecloth for the main table, or the tablecloth for the cake table. So we're just designing from the front. Now adding the flowers. Of course, we have more space because we're gonna fill all that through and get it working. I'm working here on the flowers at the same time, trying to coordinate how we're setting up other things and doing other things, because we're all here prepping for this event. The flowers, I make sure the stems are longer than the hydrangea so that they stick out more and they give the flower more of a dimension. So you see me put the flowers here, just kind of spread out. You can also gauge how wide you want to make your floral arrangement with how wide the widest flowers are. So you kind of go from there. Of course, we have to cover the mechanics from the top. So I'm just working on that, and I'll let you guys watch me finish this part. Show you guys the board that they just finished. So this is for the ceremony, reception. So 8 feet, 6.5 feet. I wanted a difference in height, and I like how it turned out. So I'm working on the flowers. I'll put the camera once I prep, I know you guys have already seen me prep the flowers, so when I'm done prepping, when I'm putting them on both corners, I'll show you guys how I do that. So be back soon. In the past, I've created these backdrops myself with wood, and if you guys have been following the channel for a while, let me know in the comments if you remember me making the 3 arches, the round one that I used for that we can barely wait theme. Let me know if you were there when I designed that or when I posted that video initially. But I know some of you have been here from the beginning, and it touches my heart so much that you're able to comment of things that you've seen, the progress you've seen in my talent, and how far we have come as a business. But if you are new here, please consider clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you haven't figured it out yet on the channel, I show you how we set up for various events. But the channel started out mainly with me doing balloon backdrops, and I still do those, love doing them, especially new designs. So if that's something you're interested in, then subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell. I also give you lots of tips that I find that help me work more efficiently. So again, join the family, join this group of friends, and let me know what you're interested in seeing. I might already have a video about it. Thank you guys for being here once more. So I'm working on the flowers here. The arch, Mr. Collins built that and painted it for me, so it's all dry. Like I said, the middle part is 8 feet tall and the sides are 6.5 feet. Initially I was gonna do 7 feet, but I wanted at least the middle part to stand out more, so we went with 6.5. This is going to replace the backdrop that you see, the drapes right there. We're gonna move that down. If you watch the room flip, you'll see us take down the white drapes and put this on top of the stage behind the couple. So that's what we did here, but I'm just showing you how I set up all of this, so it's one less step during the room flip. When we design or plan the room flips, we try to do as much as we can so that it takes less time to completely transform the room, like presetting the tables. Unless we have taller centerpieces, we put all those on the tables. So here I'm putting the flowers. They're gonna stay on. When we move the backdrop, we'll just put it in a position that it's not gonna be affected or rub on the floor or rub on anything else to damage the style or the design of it. So I'm gonna do all of this, then I'm going to put that behind that backdrop, but we have to lay it down so the guests don't see and the couple and everyone else doesn't see that until we do the room flip. So going back and forth here, once we get all our flowers on, these flowers match the flowers we just designed for the sweetheart table and the cake table. So getting everything to just be cohesive, blend well throughout the room. Once these flowers are done, then we're going to put the decals. I use my Cricut to cut the letters. This was her inspo. I think I showed you guys a collage of all the inspo pictures. Miss Jenny is helping me center everything. She said, no, you go stand, I'll do it, so you can tell me exactly where you want it. I start with and because that was the center thing in the inspo picture that you guys probably saw in the previous video. So working on centering, I cut this in half because the letters were too big, so I had to split them. But that's the top part of the and we're gonna put the bottom part here shortly. Once that's on, then we can put their initials, but these were big letters. So getting all of that on and making sure they lay on smooth. This backdrop was nice because the wood was good quality. That's something I would suggest. Buy the better quality wood so you don't have all the imperfections in the wood when you paint them, and it comes out really nice and crisp. So adding this part, then we're gonna add the other two. We had some issues with our date. Initially when I did it, I thought it was too big and we didn't like the position. So I ended up printing another one which worked out, but then I printed with the wrong year. So then I had to go back and change the year. It was just a lot, but we're pretty close to being done. The R looks crooked there. Hopefully I adjust it. I'm seeing it now that I'm looking. Oh, it's straightened up on its own. And I was saying that now that I'm doing the voiceover, I see it, but that's the bottom of the R, and then we're going to put the C, and this is what she wanted, the letters kind of at a diagonal. So getting all that done, talking while we're doing it, but still processing, planning and getting everything so that it's perfect. Now we have our date that is coming up soon, but have to put the top of the R on, and I'll let you guys watch since I told you kind of the story behind our letters. They ended up smaller, but it was fine because we moved it to the top. I could not wait to set up the sweetheart table, and I really wanted you guys to see how we set it up, so I decided to preset it. Again, one less thing to do for the room flip. You can see me here tying the tablecloth so that you don't have that excess fabric hanging and tucking it underneath. A trick there for you when you have tablecloths that are rectangular, but they end up pulling on the side. So you just tie the ends and then tuck them in, and that way it hides that excess fabric. We're putting a light sequin fabric tablecloth on top of that just to give a little more shimmer. Because it's sequin, I decided to go with a 4-way stretch fabric to overlay the top. Jenny is looking at that sequin fabric. We're trying to figure out how to steam it so that it takes away all the wrinkles. So she's gonna work on steaming it while I work on designing all of this. Mind you, we're going to have to move this table out of the way behind this backdrop, because this backdrop again is going to be used for the ceremony. But I decided to at least design it so you guys see what it looks like, because when we do the room flip, I probably won't have time to do all of this or to be able to reposition the camera, because most of the time when we're doing the room flip, I am strictly focused on making sure people are working and we're moving as fast as we can to get everything done so the guests are not either getting bored or standing with nothing to do or just standing watching us, because we want to try to get it all done as fast as possible. So we try to do everything we can. I'm even going to place all my cylinder vases where we want them to go. Again, part of it to show you guys how the ceremony looks, but also to have an idea of how it's going to look that day, kind of a practice for us. So when we do the room flip, we know exactly where we're putting everything. We put all these cylinder vases on the bottom. She had an inspo picture, and we decided we will put some blocks on the bottom to raise some of them to different heights. And that's the floral arrangement we just made, which matches the one on the right. So we'll add water and add the floating candles later. Here's just a bonus backdrop for you guys that we added for the cocktail hour. While we're doing the room flip, we figured we would have a little backdrop here for them to take pictures while they're getting drinks, things like that. So I just draped this 4-way stretch fabric over the top, kind of an overlay. I'm pinning everything in the back, making sure that doesn't slip off. So sorting it out so it's aligned from the back, then getting safety pins and just pinning it onto that white fabric so that it doesn't move. Now creating soups with my hand and using pipe cleaners to hold it in place. That gives you that soup here. This is very simple. It was just a bonus backdrop that I decided to do for the client. So nothing too excessive, but at least to tie in with the colors while also giving a little focal point. And I'm really happy that the guests got to use it quite a bit to take pictures. I think I caught one picture with them taking pictures and it worked perfectly because I made it tall enough for them to be able to really take pictures, and it covers and matches the color scheme. So getting my pole covers made here. With the pole covers, I just gather all the fabric on the part that is sewn, gather everything from one end to another. Once I have that all gathered in my finger, then I slide a pipe cleaner through that, tie it, and I'm able to hang that on the pole to cover it up, and that creates the beautiful pole cover which ties in all of this. Looks like one piece from the left bottom through the top going right and all the way down, looks like one drape. So that was the goal, getting all the fabric tucked in. We are pretty much wrapping up this part. This fabric is a lot of fabric. It's thick. It's the sheer voile fabric, but I put a lot of it so that it creates a good gather and good pleats and makes it look nice, full and rich. So spreading that bottom pull well enough so that the black doesn't look too thin in comparison to the white. Making sure all the drapes are straight. Step back, I'll look at it. This is what the ceremony the reception looks like, and that's the picture they took. Thanks for watching.